This is 7:30 Tea with Ree.
So I'm like, oh my God, I'm literally stranded in a flooding canal.
He's like, oh, I hope you don't mind. I invited my friends.
When he pulls up to pick me up, he's in a weird looking van.
Ree is spilling all the tea. Hello, everybody, and welcome to 7:30 Tea with Ree. Hope you guys are all doing well today. I am having a pretty good ass week. I can't lie. I had a weekend, whatever it is. Either way, you guys won't know what day it is when I film this, so. But I had a really fun weekend. I went to this concert the other night with my best friend, and it was so much fun. So it was like a Disney themed concert, so they played a whole bunch of Disney throwbacks and all of that. So like they had Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, and then they mixed in like Disney cartoon movies like The Lion King, Pocahontas. They played all of these throwback songs. They had Jonas Brothers, Jesse McCartney. I mean, they had it all, girl. They had it all. And this event is called Be Our Guest. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not, but search that shit up. It was so much fun. My poor Snapchat viewers had to deal with the wrath of me posting a whole bunch because I was having the time of my life. I was jumping up and down, and I don't dance all that much. But to Disney, girl, yeah, I moved and grooved. To Disney, absolutely. I was on that floor. I got some drinks in me. I was happy. I was drunk, happy, and listening to Disney. Like, there couldn't be a better combination. So, you need to get on it and get to that concert. If you are a Disney lover, that concert is absolutely for you. But anyways, enough about my little weekend. If you are new here, I am so happy that you're here. This podcast is all about spilling tea and sharing your deepest, darkest secrets. So, if you have any tea to spill, DM me on Instagram at 730tea with Ree, and you spell that 730TEAWITHRIE at 730tea with Ree. Or you can DM me on my main Instagram account at Rihanna Flores, and you spell that RIEANNAFLORES. And if you wish to be anonymous, please let me know. Your story should be up to 500 words or less. But if you want to send in an audio voice message instead of typing out your story, keep that up to 5 minutes max. Now, let's get into our first story of the day. So, this first story is called He Wouldn't Stop Talking About His Ex. One of my followers wrote in and said, one time I went out with a guy who wouldn't stop talking about his ex-girlfriend. He literally showed me her Facebook and showed me her new boyfriend. It was so weird. He was also sick and wouldn't stop sneezing. Ew, this is literally awful. This is my actual worst nightmare. I actually don't know what I would do. I think I would feel so uncomfortable. Like, could you imagine going on a date with, like, he's snotty as fuck, like, he's sneezing, and then he's talking about his ex the entire time? Like, I'd have to just off myself right there. I don't know about you. Also, it's kind of wild to me that he not only showed you her Facebook, but, like, showed you the new boyfriend too, like the pictures and stuff. Like, that's a little too extra. Also, it's like, the weird part about it, why'd he go on a date with you if he was doing all that? Like, that means he was probably stalking, like, her stuff and, like, looking through their pictures and was probably mad, like, oh, she can't just be happy, like, let me try and make her jealous. He probably, for all we know, he probably snuck a picture on his Snapchat story of, like, your hand, like, showing a girl's hand, put it on his story to make her jealous. You know what I mean? Like, probably just to, like, you might, you never know. Your hand probably could have been on his Snapchat story for all you know, because he was probably jealous as shit. Maybe that's why he asked you on the date. Just me overanalyzing, though. You never know. Don't think that your hand is there. It could be, but just kidding. Anyways, also, like, at least you know that he really loves that woman. The fact that he was talking about her on a date, like, even after she got a new man, that's wild. Like, he must really love the heck out of her. I wonder if they even got back together or not, because for him to be doing all of that, I mean, he had to have definitely been blowing up her phone or taking secret pictures of your hand at the friggin' date table. You guys went for? I think it was like brunch or something. I'm gonna guess brunch or dinner. But he probably really did sneak a picture of your hand, or pictures of like your drinks. Maybe when you went to the bathroom, he probably was like, yeah, I'm on a date with another girl. You never know. Guys are sometimes more petty than girls, truly. So, yeah, God damn, that man really must have been hurt. I hope that kid's okay. Hope he took some Mucinex for that sneeze. And I hope you find someone way, way better who is not going to talk about their ex-girlfriend and the ex's new boyfriend on a first date. So good luck to you. All right, time to get into our second story of the day. And this one is called He Made Me Spend My Birthday in a Flood. So this follower sent in an audio message. So we're going to go ahead and listen to that.
So I started seeing this guy in April, and at this point it was the middle of July, like right around my birthday. This is the weekend of my birthday, actually. So it had been like 3.5 months, and he lived about like an hour and 30 minutes away from me, and he kept, asking me to drive to him for all of our dates and such. So, I get it, like, I do live in more of a remote area, like, it's a smaller town with not a lot to do, and where he lived was more, like, town center and, like, a little bit city-ish, I guess, so it is nicer with, like, restaurants and, like, shops and things to do, but this was the weekend of my birthday, so, and at this point, we were, like, official, like, not dating anyone else, like, calling each other boyfriend and girlfriend, like, we had both, like, had a talk and agreed upon it and everything. So at this point, you're asking your girlfriend to drive an hour and a half to meet you at your apartment, and go out to dinner in your town where, like, everything is just convenient for you on my birthday weekend. So I'm like, okay, like, whatever, fine. Which in hindsight, now I'm not going to do stuff like that anymore. I'm going to say, no, you're coming to me. Like, if they live far away. So I get in the car, I start driving. This is like a Friday evening, like after work, and I start driving. And I'm on the highway, and it does start like raining on and off on the highway. And I'm like, all right, like, this isn't too bad. Like, as long as it just stays like this and like the rain doesn't get any worse, like, I'll be fine. And I'm getting closer, like, to the town that he lives in, and at this point I'd been like driving for like about 45 minutes to almost an hour, I guess, and I'm getting closer to the town, and it starts raining even harder, and it's like raining harder and harder. At this point it's like full on pouring rain, and I'm like, oh, this is getting a little like hard to drive in. And my GPS like just automatically rerouted me and just put me on a different road than I normally would take to get there. And I was just like, oh, okay, like, sure, I'll accept the route. Like, there must be a road closed up ahead or something. No, it takes me down this, like, this farmland road with, like, nothing but, like, cornfields on each side. And it was, like, so far removed from the highway. So I'm on this road that's basically just, like, cornfields all around me. I'm like, it's absolutely pouring rain, like, really bad conditions. I could barely see, like, 2 feet in front of me, and there's nothing but, like, farms surrounding me, and the GPS is like, 3 miles left on this route, and then you'll, like, get routed back to the highway or whatever. So I'm like, okay, like, 3 miles, like, that's not that long, let me just get through this patch, and, like, I'll get back on the highway. False again. So the GPS takes me from this farmland road down a literal canal road. So, and it's pouring rain, and it takes me on a canal road. Like, I'm literally gonna sue Google Maps at this point. So there's a flooding canal on one side of me. Flooding canal, like body of water on one side of the road. And on the other side of the road is just more farm, like cornfield farm shit. And at this point, it's like me and maybe 5 other cars on this one road. and the road is flooding. Like the road is actively flooding. And it's like getting up to the point where like I'm driving through it in my little Chevy Trax, which is like the smallest SUV imaginable. And excuse me. And yeah, water is like spewing everywhere, spewing up from my tires. And like I was just on this road and I could barely go through. So then the line of cars, the first person in the line of cars, like turns around in this teeny tiny like canal road, which is like so thin. And he turns around and he's like, rolls down your window and he's like, we can't go that way. Like it's blocked. There's a bridge up there that like somebody crashed and it's flooding and it's blocked off. So we all turn around, try to go back the way we came from. And then we see that there's a car totaled, crashed that bridge is flooding, can't go that way either. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm literally stranded in a flooding canal. Like, what am I gonna do? And I go, okay. I remember like seeing some like long driveway that was kind of up on a hill, like a little bit back. Gonna put this bitch in reverse and go find that driveway, excuse me, and like hang out in there and call my boyfriend and like see what he has to say. I know this is like a little bit over 5 minutes, but I'll try to keep it brief. So I'm like, okay, I find this driveway and I pull my car up, and all along this driveway, which is the only one that was like accessible on this road because I'm stranded in between two flooded bridges at this point. This is my only option. I wouldn't have chosen it if I wanted to, but this is my only option. It's covered in Trump flags. It's like a farm, like big ass driveway, like Trump flags, cornfields, farmland, like a little farmhouse up above. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just park my car here, call my boyfriend, see what he says to do. And then another car that was like in that line of cars on that canal road with me also pulled up, and it was a guy and his wife. And the guy comes out and he's like, oh, we called the ambulance and the fire department and we're going to see if somebody can come like get us out of here. We might have to leave our cars here overnight and just get a ride in the ambulance, like get a ride home with them. And I'm like, I don't live here. This is not my home. I'm an hour and a half away from my house. Like, what do you mean get a ride home in the ambulance? Like, what? So then, so sorry, I just have a cold right now. So then the guy that lives at this Trump McFarmland comes down on the driveway, his driveway, comes down on like a little golf cart and is like, oh, roll your window down. And he's like the typical like white man, Farmer Joe type dude. And I'm like, oh God, get me out of here. And the guy's like, roll your window down, and I roll my window down like an inch, and he's like, hey, like, I've been living here all my life, and like, when this canal road floods, like, ain't nobody getting out of here. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to like be murdered in this like driveway. And the guy goes, yeah, like, you're more than welcome to like spend the night. And he's like, you can leave your car and like sleep over in the main house. And I go, oh no, thank you. I'm actually like waiting for my boyfriend to come get me. Like, no, haha, okay, bye. And he like walks away, and I like start hysterically crying at this point. I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm like yelling on the phone with my boyfriend. I'm like, you better find a way to come get me out of this driveway. Like, I'm not spending the night here. Like, this is literally my fucking birthday weekend. I'm not spending the night with this Farmer Joe Trump supporter dude. And I waited in his parking lot. I waited in his driveway for an hour for the fire department to get there, and then the fire department was somehow able to like clear one way of the bridge that had like a totaled car on it. They like just moved it over like just enough and like got some of the flooding out of the way so that we could drive off the bridge and get back to where we needed to go. But I waited there for an hour, just stranded. And then we went back to my boyfriend's apartment, and it was just a shit night overall. And then we broke up like a week later, and now I'm single again, so.
Oh my God. I would literally die. I don't even know. Oh my God. That's a lot of emotions. Because I'd be scared shitless because I'm already scared of the dark as it is. And like, if I was in the middle of nowhere, I don't know what I would do. Because I used to do Uber Eats driving, right? And sometimes that shit takes you far, like to pick up orders and drop them off. Like when you get if you've ever done Uber driving or DoorDash or whatever, like when you go to click on like the big orders that come in that are like $20, it'll give you $20 to do the trip. Like it usually takes you pretty far, and sometimes it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I remember I used to have to like go on like far trips like that where it's like an extra 20 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever it was. And I remember the creepiest place I went to, it was like just how you said, like nothingness and just farms and like dark. Yeah, it was like that, and it took me down this really narrow, like woodsy area where all the trees curved in. So that's what that's reminding me of. I would lose my mind, and then on top of it, a flood, and like your birthday weekend. Oh my god, I'd be scared shitless. I'd be mad. I'd be fuming. I'd just, oh my god, you honestly, even though you were like upset and like scared and crying, I feel like you handled that pretty well for what the situation was, because I'd be losing my shit, bro. It also pisses me off too, because it's like if he had just driven to you, this wouldn't have even happened. Like he made you drive in the rain. He made you drive during your birthday weekend. Like that's really selfish on his part. Like if it's your birthday, he should have at least driven to you. He should have made that extra effort. Especially how you were saying, like, you were always driving to him. Like, he really could have at least just done this for your weekend and made it about you and not himself. You know what I mean? Also, oh my god, you really could have gotten killed, because the fact that you said this old man was trying to, like offer for you to stay at his house and saying, oh, ain't no way you're getting out of here, like, that shit's sketchy, because he could have been bullshitting that. He could have been really trying to get you to stay at his house. So, I mean, it's good that you, like, tried to stand your ground and, like, find a way to get out of that, because that's really dangerous. And it also bothers me, too, that, like, your boyfriend didn't, like, immediately drive to you during all this. Like, you were literally trapped in a flood. Like, I know it was hard to, like, get there, but he could have been nearby. Like, you ended up finding your way out after an hour, and you were stranded in some creepy old dude's driveway on a hill. Like, you really could have been murdered or lured in. Like, you never know these days. But I am just glad that you got back safe. Like, you're really, really lucky. It really could have turned out way worse, this scenario. But, my God, I would have been so pissed. Like, I wonder how your parents felt. If you want to update me and tell me any of those kinds of stuff, definitely tell me, because my parents would have been fuming. My parents would have found a way to sue or something. But like I said, thank goodness you're safe, and good for you for knowing your worth and breaking up with him, because, oh my lord, I'd definitely be super concerned if you didn't, because even before all that happened, like, there were some red flags. Like I said, like, he definitely should have driven to see you for your birthday weekend. Like, it definitely is selfish on his part. But anyways, girl, on to the next. You're going to find someone so much better who sees your worth and is going to definitely not let you get caught in a flood or make you drive to see him in the pouring ass rain in a creepy farmland area. You will find someone so much better. Here is going to be time for our third and final story of the day. Is going to be about a guy basically overdoing it when it comes to flirting. So, one of my followers wrote in and they said, this guy kept being persistent to ask me out while I told him I only wanted to be friends. So, I told him I was seeing someone else. I also had my manager send me a fake text that could screenshot calling me into work. So, I could send him the screenshot and tell him I couldn't hang out. Men need to respect women's boundaries for real. Shit. I'm reading this and I'm just like, ew. Like, I fucking hate that. I feel like, honestly, in this generation, I don't know what it is with the men, but I feel like they're sometimes all too comfortable. Like, if a woman is blatantly telling you no, they mean no. Like, they don't want to talk to you. That's kind of like the other day, one of my close friends, she's talking to this guy, and she straight up, like, he's been DMing her or whatever. He's been DMing her for like months, wanting to go on a date, and she kind of doesn't really want to, and she straight up told him like something kind of similar. Like she was like, oh, like to be honest with you, I'm not into you. Like I don't want to go out with you. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll try again next time. Like, what the fuck? Like, if somebody's telling you that, like, first of all, no means no. Like, yes, like, of course. But, like, also, why would you still want to go out if somebody's literally telling you that they don't want to be with you? Like, they're telling you, I'm not into you. I'm not attracted to you. I don't want to be a part of you. Why would you still, like, persistently go with that? Like, wouldn't you at least have some self-respect? And I mean, this goes on both parties. Like, this goes on both ends for men and women. Like, if somebody is telling you no, or if they're just not even saying yes, it's a no. Like, they don't want you. And you shouldn't waste your time on it. Like, have some self-respect. Have some self-worth, you know? Like, you're so much better than that. You're so much more than that, than to be begging for somebody's attention and begging for somebody to want you. It should be an equal balance of you guys wanting each other. So that's what I have to say on that. All right, so now to clear up all the negative energy we just let out, or just, you know, a whole bunch of different types of energies, we're going to close out with our sound healing session. So sit back, lie down, relax, shut your eyes. Take a deep breath in from your nose and out from your mouth. And I'm going to play. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining today and listening. I always love and appreciate that you're here. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you next week, so goodbye.